Hello, everyone. Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you might be. It's episode 144 of the Pro Synth Network live show. It's our first show of 2023, so I hope that you had a fantastic New Year and a Christmas or a Hanukkah or whatever it was, a Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate at this time of year. I hope it was good. I hope Santa brought you everything you wanted, and if he didn't, well, what can I say? Sorry. Maybe next year. Be a bit nicer this year. I don't know how that works. Anyway, we're going to have a fun show tonight because instead of there being any kind of real news topics, because there aren't really that many, given the time of year, we're going to look back at our predictions that we made at this time last year, and we're going to see how right or wrong we were. And we'll also spend some time talking about probably the one bit of sort of news that occurred this week, which is the Expressive E Osmos, which has started landing in various people's laps, studios, or containers therein. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Of course, before we do anything else, can I just remind you all, of course, to like, comment, subscribe, and share. That would be fantastic if you could do all of those. Who did that? Is it you messing around?
It might have been.
It's okay. Look, you spoiled the surprise. Look, let's hide them up again. Ugh, go away. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. There you go. If you could do that, that'd be fantastic. We are, of course, across all social media channels: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, right here on YouTube, where most of you, I guess, are watching us. Of course, we are also broadcasting live on Twitter and Twitch. If you want to join in there. And if you have any questions for us during the show, please preface them with a big capital Q, just so we can pick them out and throw them in the question bucket. I was going to mention the merchandise, but our merchandise is currently off sale, so I won't increase Andy's woes by lumping more orders in there. But merchandise will be back on sale soon, we hope, and we're looking at some options there. So if you're looking for some merch, hold fire, hold your Christmas money just a little bit longer, and we'll sort that out. Right, that's all of that boring stuff out of the way. Hopefully you've noticed that I'm now kind of looking more towards you guys, and you're not looking up at my nose. New toys, new camera holding things. What are they called? I don't know. It's not a tripod. It's like a big rod. It's a big, wide, thick rod. And it's a bracket. Yes, it's hinge and bracket. There's lots of hinges. So yeah, there you go.
We don't need to know about your big rod.
No. But it's hopefully it's looking better. I mean, obviously this doesn't look better, but hopefully the whole composition of the shot is much better. Let's bring in some of those voices that you've been hearing in the background. First of all, our illustrious leader, Mr. Ben Simpson. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Yes.
Applause.
Did you have a good New Year?
Yeah, I was gigging on New Year. We was
Nice.
up in Burton Wood. We bought a new radio mic system because we've been faffing about with different systems and everything, and it occurred to me, like, there must be like an all-in-one unit, you know, that'll cater for the few different mics. We've got like headsets and handhelds and stuff like that, and got recommended to us Phoenix Pro. It's like an American imported from China kind of thing.
Okay.
But the quality is amazing. They sound really, really good. It worked flawlessly. You set your frequencies up and just do like an infrared transmit from the box to the mic, and it configures the mic.
Wow.
It's just a great bit of kit.
Nice.
And I think they do different configurations, but like there's a two handheld mics and two headset mics. It's like they're pro built and everything. And it's only like 300 and odd quid for the whole thing. So
Wow.
It you know, you think like the more like considered pro versions are like you know, $1,000 at least, you know.
Yeah,
so
gotta be.
it's really good. Can recommend it.
Nice.
Totally, you know.
And did you have a nice...
Yeah, so it was a good night.
Yeah, I've asked you if you had a nice Christmas because we did a show last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
But you had a good one, didn't you?
Yes, I had a cracker and got a new turntable, as I probably said last week.
Yes, yeah.
I'm currently enjoying that. And
Nice.
the 3 records I've got.
I've got something you want to. I'll dig out some of my duplicates and send them over.
Oh yeah, lovely. Yeah.
At a price, of course.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight's show. It'll be interesting to see what we got right and what we didn't. So
yeah, I think it'll be. I was looking through the video last week, and it was very interesting to see what we were saying and how right or wrong we were. There was some decent stuff in there. So yeah, looking forward to that. Cool, excellent. Well, good to have you back, Ben. Let's go over to London Town. Well, he's a bit southwest of London Town, but it's our good friend and his good friend. It's Siri.
How's it? Say
And,
hello,
and
Siri.
some guy called Ken. Hello, Siri.
Speak up, Siri. Oh, for God's sake, don't headbutt the deluxe. Good morning.
Hello, darling. How are you?
It's been a hell of a day. Please tell me
Sounds
it's
it.
over.
You had a visitor today.
No, 2.
2. You're Tiny.
I had 3. Yeah, I
Oh,
had
3. Tiny.
Yeah.
Matt.
That Tiny, Matt, and Elliot.
Elliot.
Yeah.
Elliot.
He came to collect the 6 large keyboards that had been sitting in the toilet.
Oh, wow.
So we can use the downstairs toilet now.
Yay.
I don't know what for, but we can use it. So, yeah, so Tiny here. So one of the GS1s has gone.
Nice.
Yeah, so, and Matt here.
How was Matt?
Yeah, doing good. He's all right.
Good.
He's all right.
Good
He's doing
stuff.
fine.
Did he like his Jupiter 8 case or shell?
Do you know the expression dog with 2 dicks?
yes.
Yeah.
I see.
I think he was quite happy.
What time did he leave? Because he said he was going to try and get back for the show. I don't see him in the chat at the moment, so
I
wanted to
think
break
he
his neck.
left about 3-ish.
It's a fair old hike, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's something wrong down there, and he has to take a long way round where they close the road off, and he has to go
Oh
round.
God.
So
Yeah, because what's that? M4 then M5. Jeez.
no, he
yes.
said he takes the
Oh, that one. Jeez.
A303 or something.
Yeah, 303, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, good luck to him. Anyway, well, hopefully he'll be here soon. But if not, safe travels, Matt. Good to see you, mate. Let's now get to our guest. He's been on here many times before. You know him. We know him. We love him. And he was here literally this time last year doing the same kind of thing. So let's welcome back the one and the only, the inimitable, the irrepressible Dr. Mike Metlay.
Okay, I got to get this out of the way.
Go on, then.
Hello, all the nice people in the computer.
It's tradition.
It's good to see you all. I hope everybody's having a great 2023. And as always, thank you for having me back. You guys must be gluttons for punishment.
Yeah, we've got to do what our viewers want, and so they keep saying, "Oh, get that Mike Metlay on." So
I don't know why. It has nothing to do with the 10-pound notes I'm slipping into their pants pockets.
Well, we kind of had to have you back for this one because it's the prediction show, and you were here for the last one, and I think this might become a regular annual thing.
Hey,
Let's do
Didn't
it.
predict that, did you?
anything's possible.
So, how was your Hanukkah? How was your New Year? All good?
2022 was not a bad year. But just in terms of my workload, it was pretty rough. I had a chance to relax a little bit. At this age, I give presents, I don't get them. Although somebody did note, Jason noted in chat that I do have a box behind me.
Yes.
And actually you can't see the 9 others that are sitting there. I won't open anything until I get caught up on my work. So I've got a couple things that have been sitting here for a month. And before I forget, I want to give a quick shout out. We have a new person watching PSN today.
Oh, cool.
This is an old colleague of mine. He's the person who got me into doing online internet radio. He's an amazing recording artist and a very good friend. So big shout out to Daryl Bergen, aka Palancar. Love you, man.
Well, welcome to the show, and welcome to anyone who is a first-time viewer, or if you've been away and you've come back. We haven't really changed much, so sorry about that. But no, great to see you, Mike. And
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing new audience members along as well. And of course, we will do the whole thing shortly with the predictions, and we'll have a look back at what we said and have a laugh and a giggle at how right, or maybe a gasp at how right we were, or how spot on the money, or not.
Ben, Kent, can I start the show with an absolutely cruel joke at Rob's expense?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Okay, well, Rob, do you see this box here?
I see a box.
It has a Hydrosynth Explorer in it, and guess who it's for? Not you!
Oh, that was harsh. That was harsh.
What can I say?
I'm awfully sorry, man, but one of these days I'm going to get you to try one of these things, because I really think it'll be life-changing.
Well, I am on a promise with Mr. Spong here that the next time I'm in his neck of the woods, he's going to let me borrow his 49 key one.
Yep.
Because
They're amazing machines, and I'm sorry that I'm bugging you about it.
No, I know that I will like it when I get it, and it's worth the wait, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it has been many years since I've actually had to own two of something. I have the 49 key one, and I got the Explorer for a variety of reasons, but it's just a beautiful little instrument, and I wish you well, and I wish I could afford to send it to you. I really do.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
No, seriously.
Yeah, because the shipping's very expensive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe I'll come over with one in my suitcase, since you're not likely to get one before I actually get to England. I am going to be coming over, by the way, if all goes well. I'm going to be here in April.
Okay.
And I'm going to be traveling all over.
Oh damn! I'm out of the country. No, I'm not. Actually, no. April. There was something. I know Record Store Day this year is like the third weekend in April, but I've been making plans for this year, because it's nice to actually do that. I'm going to Italy in April, just after Easter. Just going to drive down, see some family, and then the week after that is Record Store Day. Ben and I are in the early stages of discussing a potential trip to Superbooth in May.
I will be there. That is the reason I'm coming over.
Excellent. So
that is the reason I'm coming over. Well,
if we don't see you in April, we'll hopefully see you there.
Yes. I'm actually planning a really big grand tour. I may have the missus over. If anyone is curious as to who can live with me for 32 years and spawn two offspring. She's a remarkable lady, and I'm looking forward to it.
Has to be, yeah.
Well, and
I'll bring a medal for her. I'll bring a medal. So that'll be cool. And what else was there was that, because NAM's in April this year, isn't it? But I think that's out of our price range. So Superbooth, hopefully.
Well, I'm probably going to end up going to NAM. Whether I want to or not. Well, trade shows are where I pick up clients.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I'm gonna keep putting food
street
on the
corners
table,
where I pick up mine.
Yeah, we know that, and we told you we're not talking about that on this show.
Well, before we crack on and get through some of the other business today, I just wanted to let Kent know, on behalf of Matt, that he's got home okay.
Oh, good.
There you go. So he's in the chat. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And Ben, Jason wants to know, what's the box we spot on the floor using your new 4K?
It looks like a really good synth or something, doesn't it? Unfortunately, it's really boring.
It's Tupperware or something.
It's a spoiler for my van.
Oh, yeah. Please tell me you're going to colour it red and do the stripe down the side like Mr. T.
Who the hell puts a spoiler on a van?
Me.
Batman.
What does it actually have, a V12 under the hood or something?
It is a fancy van.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
It's a Volkswagen van, so like the spoiler's a little bit like unnecessary, really.
It's like a handle when you want to pick it up and change the tyre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. We would call balls on a nun.
Yes, quite indeed. Right, so we've got a whole bunch of predictions to check and then a whole bunch of predictions to make. And we'll do that shortly. But before we do, so there has really been no news this week. So we are kind of winging it a bit. And I thought what we would do is talk about something that has been on everyone's minds, I guess, for the last 3 years. I think
3 years.
It was 3 years that
Almost to the month. Almost
the
to the
Kickstarter started for Expressive E's Osmos, and it just as soon as it was announced, there was a huge buzz around the thing, and then of course this long protracted.
Which they fixed.
Well, quite.
Sorry.
Hey.
Sorry.
So there was this huge, long, protracted process. Obviously, things like COVID got in the way, and chip shortages, and component shortages, and bugs, and fixing of things, and getting things to work. And I think it was last year that we saw one in the flesh at Super Booth, where the public could get their hands on this thing and play it. And those that were lucky enough.
That wasn't a real one.
It wasn't a real one.
No. The brains were in a console a few feet away.
Oh wow!
What you got was the control surface, and you had the brains, but they hadn't gotten it all into the same case yet.
I see. I didn't realize that.
Pay no attention to the box behind the curtain.
Indeed, it's quite.
Yeah.
Then was it a few weeks ago, just before Christmas? People started getting emails and announcements started coming out that they were about to ship and to expect them. And then all of a sudden, people just popping up all over the place saying, I got a shipping notice last night and it's on my front lawn this morning. And in some cases, that was actually the case. My friend Ludovic in France, I think they just dumped it on his front lawn in the rain and just went. But luckily, it was all okay. It was good. And I posted some of his demos up on the group. I'm colour me impressed. So lots of people have been receiving them. And then there was the announcement yesterday that pre-orders have reopened. So you can now go and pre-order your own one. They've got a select group of retailers around the world. If you go to the Expressive E website, which we'll show you in just a moment, you can go and find your local retailer and place an order because they're allocating units per retailer, but get in there quick. Good news is they are maintaining the original price of $17.99 US or euro, so they've not gone shot up in price at all, and they're going to work hard to keep that where it is. So if you want one, and I know a lot of people, particularly some bloke like down there, has ordered one or maybe guy? Two. Yeah. How many did you order?
I've accidentally ordered 2. Yeah.
So, yeah. Lone unit. Yay!
Yeah. But as Fiona turned around to me, she goes, well, it's not like you'd have a lot of trouble selling it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going, what do you mean, sell it?
To be honest, I was surprised when you said that. Not because, well, I wasn't surprised because you said it, and, that was kind of the norm. But I was surprised that they allowed you to buy 2. Because I would have thought something like that would have been one per person.
No. Remember 3 years ago, they thought they were going to get it out in 9 months.
True.
People could order as many as they wanted if they fronted the cash.
Well, yes.
What was interesting, I contacted Andertons and I thought, I'm going to be a sneaky bastard here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to phone Anderton and say, look, here's all my details, my credit card number, blah, 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 blah. When 5 o'clock hits, just add me to the order, please. And they went, oh, I don't think you can get the Osmos at the moment. I went, yeah, I know. I mean, but you can pre-order it again from 5 o'clock today. Can you? No, don't worry. I'll do it through the website.
Staff briefing.
Yeah. Thanks for that, guys. Cheers.
Lack of, yeah.
Yeah, one of the listed distributors.
Indeed. But yeah, so the Osmos is real. It's in people's hands. It's not a demo unit anymore, and it's sounding rather incredible. I do have a demo video. There's been lots of demo videos, and I'm hoping I've picked one that will kind of give a broad range of like examples of the stuff it can do. So let me just bring that up onto the screen. Right, now it is gone. There it is. Let's play this for you. I mean, it's such a broad range of things that it can do in terms of expression that we could be here for hours listening to all the possibilities. There is actually a video, maybe I'll call it up later, that goes through all the different expressions that you can do with the keys on their own. There's the tap, there's the gentle press, there's the regular velocity, there's the left and right, there's the aftertouch. There's so much expression built into this thing. Now, we were talking with Ty the other day, weren't we, Ken? And he said that the actual mechanism is quite loud. It's the physical, the clickety clackety.
Yes, it's a little clickety clackety.
It's a little clickety clackety, but it does sound bloody good.
Yeah, but it has to be, because the mechanism that relinquishes itself under each key.
Yes.
Is a clinkety clankety kind of mechanism.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff
to give you
on.
those dimensions of expression.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, it's the trade-off, boys.
Yeah. And when you're recording, you don't record the sound of the keyboard,
Precisely.
mechanism. So yeah.
And if the noise of the keyboard does bother you, turn the Thacker up.
Well, yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
So let's go around the room. Let's start over here, Ben. What are your initial thoughts now that you've kind of seen a bit more of the Osmos out in the wild? What are your initial thoughts on this? Is this something you think will appear behind you or next to you at some point?
I think it's interesting that, like, at a time when a lot of the music that's being released it is a little bit expressionless. Like electronic music is a little bit kind of flat, and I think it's interesting that we're seeing devices come out that are encouraging us to add more feel and more human elements in the music, and this is built for that, isn't it? It's about, when you get these like really great guitarists that they're playing the same instrument, but they sound different from somebody else playing it, and we've not really, apart from our sound design options, we've not been able to do that as keyboard players in an expressive way, really. I think this is gonna, where you can tell who's playing because of the style.
Well, yeah, it will allow people to build a signature style of performance.
So I think it's great for that. I think I actually love the look of the thing, and since that they've incorporated the sound engine into the actual unit, I think it's a synthesizer, isn't it? And it sounds good. It sounds good as well.
Yeah.
It looks great. I think I really love the way that the keys are black on the inside. I want one just for that, you know.
Yeah, it does. It is a beautiful thing to look at. You know, it's a lovely work of art as well as a functional tool. But yeah, I think the amount of expression that you can create with this thing will allow people to create. Even, I mean, let's not beat around the bush. There have been many keyboardists with an individual style.
Yeah.
But maybe we just haven't had that depth of expression before.
Yeah, I think
maybe we have. I don't know.
Oh, we definitely have, but it's not my turn yet.
Well, I think it's gonna be great for expressionism in music, and it should you know, that kind of thing should be encouraged, and I'd love to give one a go. I think the price is quite reasonable as well.
It is actually, it's not awful. And I think one of the reasons why I think this might actually be a bit more successful than previous attempts at sort of multi-expression instruments like the Roly Seaboard Rise and the Hacken Continuum and that kind of stuff. And there was another thing, wasn't there? Not a few years ago. It was made by the same people who make the engine for this. It was the Egan Matrix, and it was a funny-looking contraption.
The Eigenharp.
That's it, the Eigenharp.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that will help with this is that the fact that the Osmos is a standalone device with a hugely powerful synthesis engine already built in, whereas something like the Rise, for example, and don't get me wrong, I'm not picking on the Rise, because it won our best production tool of 2022, by the way, last week. The Rise is just a controller, and I would imagine to get the most out of it, you have to connect it to something that can deal with all of that. Yeah. Now, I know it does come with its own set of or suite of instruments, but that's it, kind of thing. Then you have to sort of try and marry it up to other things, and will it talk to it? Kent's already mentioned about, you know, certain CCs that the Rise sends aren't picked up by certain other instruments. And
well, they're not even CCs. It's, you know, some sort of, you know, the polypressure.
Right.
Is sent, and if the instrument you've plugged it into, although it is MPE compatible, if the polypressure is not pointed, if you know, you can't point it at the control you want it to do, it just goes in and it will just polypressure whatever the thing has been set up to do.
Right. But
until you get that sorted.
Yeah, but to have a synthesis engine that has been developed alongside the hardware itself is going to make it, I think, stand out more and probably be more, I wouldn't say successful, but more accepted. I don't know. I mean, Kent, you've ordered two.
Apparently, yeah.
So, you know, you've got one of each of the Rise products, and you really like that kind of thing. So what about the Osmos was it that made you really want one over and above all this other stuff that you already have?
Top of the list. You can take it out of the box and immediately play it without having to spend 3 days in a darkened room trying to work out how to get the feel. You know, you can play them, but when you want a particular thing to happen, you have to learn how to get what you want from it, and how do I press it? But you do have to be very accurate as well. Not so much with the Rise 2 because they address that with the raised strips on the keys, so it's easier to hit the center. But if you're using something like the Roly Grand, holy hell, that has to be learnt. And of course, this thing, you take it out of the box and you can start playing it because you've been playing keys all your bleeding life, and you're off. All right, now you have to learn about the lift, the strike, the pressure, and the various ways you would try to get your expression out of the machine. But then if it's doing what you want it to do, you know, you're fine, you're off and running with it, and it's great. And it's got an engine built into it that's really a really good synth engine. I mean, really, really good. And the attraction of these multi-dimensional expression keyboards is that you can take what would you consider sort of like it's an all right sound, but because you can do all this extra stuff with it, live while you're playing it. Any little ordinary sound becomes a really big environment for you to play with.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, we've been shouting at the manufacturers for 30 years. Can you do something like the CS80 again, please? You know, can we have something more than velocity? I mean, all very well, but you know, not every sound is a piano.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's Vogue, and thank God that I haven't died before it happened.
Yeah, I know you're getting a bit worried, weren't you?
Yeah, so I'm never going to see this again.
I'll tell you what has been good about the Osmos is it's created a whole bunch of its own little section of humour. For example, what's the plural of Osmos? Is it Osmos or Osmoses or Osmosen or Osmosi?
I think it's Osmoi.
Osmoi. Yeah.
Osmoi.
A
Darling.
portable keytar version would be good. You call it the Ospose.
Oh, come on. You got to get some of Lady Aptitudes in there. She's been burning it up.
I've missed those.
She's always good.
No, she's got 15 of them. I'm waiting for the all black model, the Depressive D Osmoros. The Osmoros only plays in minor keys.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
And
I think that's the one I ordered.
And if you're another one, she said was if it vanishes in Spanish customs, then it's the Adios.
Oh,
And and the Canadian version is the Osmoose. And
Well,
that wasn't Lady Aptitude. That was Keith and Watford.
This is a show on predictions, and I'd just like to add while we're on the Osmos, is that waggling keyboard motion from side to side is something that we've wanted since like the first mono synths. You know, it's felt natural to wiggle your finger from side to side to modulate.
Well, we all do it, don't we? We all make that motion.
Yeah.
We all know that it. Unless you're playing, was it the GX1 had it on
GX1, but only the top manual. Yeah,
on the top
manual, the GX1. Yeah.
It had that left and right
Well,
thing.
you can even see video of Vangelis doing it on the 80.
Yeah. I've found myself doing it many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By the way, for anyone that's just joined this conversation, we are talking about keyboard motions left and right, just to make sure.
Not panty stuff. Yeah.
So he's been waiting there with bated breath. He's going to have his say now. Mike,
Stand back.
Osmos, go for it.
I was in the second wave of pre-orders, and I've been waiting. My background in expressive keyboards is more extensive than a lot of people's. But of course, where I come from was the early MIDI era, which was, it was expensive, but you could get keyboards with polyphonic aftertouch. Mm-hmm. And historically, as Kent pointed out, we watched polyphonic aftertouch go away. And then for a while, we watched aftertouch go away. And it was actually the policy of the big makers that any affordable synthesizer was just velocity sensitive. And aftertouch was only for the boutiques, the higher end stuff. And, which is the reason why, in my opinion, well, first of all, I never buy any keyboard that does not have some kind of aftertouch. Mm-hmm. I don't. And that's why, everything Roland did for keytars between the original Axis 1 and the Axe Edge is, it's a non-starter for me, because if you can't give up aftertouch to a keytar player, for God's sake.
I know.
And Craig Anderton and I actually were sitting in a bar at a hotel at a NAMM show, just talking about, stuff like we always do. And he said, we finally are starting to see a couple of the big manufacturers putting aftertouch back. And I said, do you think we've made it yet? And he said, no, we're still not out of the woods. And a couple of years later, CME, Zhao Yitian is a genius, came out with the X key, and all of a sudden people started discovering poly aftertouch. Now the action stank. But suddenly people were realizing that there was something here. And and then of course the Hydrasynth came along and blew that all open, and now everybody's doing it. Fatar is making one. You've got some of these Waldorf keyboards like the Iridium, that can do it, and it's suddenly become, thank God. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
with Kent. I never thought I'd live to see the day. But yeah, it's become more of a thing, and it's attracting a lot of people. One of my very best friends in this industry is the guy who succeeded me as editor of Recording Magazine, Paul Vanook Jr., and he loves taking the piss out of me. He loves it. And for years and years and years, he would hear me complain about the lack of aftertouch or the lack of poly aftertouch, and he would throw up his hands and he'd roll his eyes. And then, ASM sent him a Hydrasynth Explorer to review. And I get this phone call, and it's just, Paul, what's up? Paul? Hello? God damn you, Metlay. And it was just, he was sold.
Yeah.
Because once you do it, I mean, anybody who's ever played a CS80, as Kent once pointed out on this show, you take the reverb and the chorus off of a CS80, the external reverb and chorus, it's really not all that impressive a machine dry. But with the expression, with the ability to do the poly aftertouch and everything else, it comes alive. And what we're now seeing is a ton of people who are getting that expressiveness handed over to them. And so that's, I'm glad for that. $1,800 is more expensive than a Hydrasynth, less expensive than a Deluxe, but somebody who's really interested can afford it. It's not, it's not never mind. I'm not going to say what I wanted to say. But it costs $8,000 and has less polyphony.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this is going to open doors for a lot of people where a lot of the older MPE controllers didn't. And now next topic, one of the things about MPE is that everybody implements it differently. The whole idea of MPE is that each you get some, what Rowley called, which is actually not a bad phrase to coin, the 5 dimensions. Mm-hmm. You have strike, lift, press, glide, and slide. Mm-hmm. And the problem is everybody does this differently, and because of the way the keyboards or whatever are constructed, the way you put this into effect is different. Now, you mentioned the Eigenharp. I am very, very lucky to be friends with one of the best Eigenharp players in the world, Paul Harriman, aka Edison Rex, who lives in London. And Paul is extraordinary with this thing. He brings so much out of it. But the thing about the Eigenharp is it has no rule book. There is no context. There is no history. Mm. And one of the things that Paul talks about all the time is before the pandemic, and I think they're getting back to it, they have an annual convention, I think in Portugal, where Eigenharpists get together. And the one thing that happens every year is that somebody gives this beautiful performance, right? And then somebody says, great, can I try it? And they grab it and they have no idea how to use it because every single person has a different technique on this instrument. And there's no commonality at all. You can't play someone else's Eigenharp. It can't be done. And then you've got the fact that every key is a pressure sensitive joystick. It's all mechanical. It's all tactile. Feels great. But I think the thing has something like 217 springs in it.
Wow.
Just it's insane. Gorgeous, but insane and incredibly expensive. Then you have things like the Lindstrument, which, is my favorite MPE, where you have poly aftertouch and left to right slide and, velocity. I don't think it does lift. But then the y-axis is very limited. And what Roger Lynn recommends is that you program that to some parameter that is designed to vary only a little bit and to be quasi-random, because you can't use each key on a Lindstrument as a vertical slider. There's no way you can get that kind of control. So instead you use it to add variation, to add life. Mm-hmm. And it works great that way. And then, of course, you have the Hydrasynth, which, has the poly aftertouch. It has strike, lift, and press and, poly pressure. And you don't have the glider slide, but, that's what I was used to. That's what I came up with. And so I'm fine with it. The thing about the Osmos is that everybody implements that 5th dimension differently. You have side-to-side slide, which works very nicely. Actually, as you said, it's a natural movement. And by the way, it goes back way before the GX1. You can do it on an Ondas Martineau. So that idea of side to side pitch bend, that's the reason why some people love the roll and pitch paddle, because it's left to right.
Yeah.
Which is very natural, and that has been implemented in a variety of different ways, and works nicely. Pressure, velocity, release velocity, those we understand. But this fifth dimension, this slide thing, almost every MPE controller out there does it differently and requires a different technique. And one of the things about the Osmos is that they not only have the poly aftertouch, but then they have this extra, you give something an extra push, and it gets down into this next level of variation, which is a totally, that's very natural for anybody who's ever played a pressure sensitive keyboard. It's totally different than anything anybody else does. And what I'm predicting is, by the sheer volume of the things that they're going to sell, you're going to see sort of what is a common technique. There will be a body of technique that people develop for this thing over time, and probably very rapidly. And for whatever reason, I have owned almost every Rolly product at one time or another, except the Grand, and I've let them all go because for whatever reason, that form of MPE just doesn't trip my trigger. But there are a lot of people who've gotten a lot of good stuff out of it. But a lot of these people, when they see it's laid out like a piano, and Kent can verify this easily with what he said about the Grand, you see the things laid out like a piano. You start playing, and the first thing that hits your brain is you're a shark that has just attacked a sinking ship full of mannequins. Right? There's a person sinking in the water, you sink your teeth into it, and then you're just like, is this some kind of cruel joke? Because the thing looks like a piano and it doesn't play like a piano. There's nothing like a piano on this thing. Whereas the Osmos has a very low, if you will, it has a very low cost of entry. If you're a keyboardist, you can sit down with it, you can start playing it like an ordinary keyboard, and then you can gradually explore where this thing will take you. And I think that's going to make a lot of fans.
Yeah. Because
the only other keyboards that have ever done full 5-axis MPE with piano action are the ones that Felix Visser makes for Synthenovo. He has a standard action. They look just like piano keys, where you have polyphonic aftertouch, you have velocity, release velocity, the keys wobble from side to side, and I don't know how he does it, but they sense up and down, forward and back movement. So, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous instrument. But again, it's not a MIDI controller, and you can't use it via USB, because Felix says in order to get that kind of nuance, you've got to have the engine built in, because the scanning rate is so much higher than what USB can handle.
Yeah.
And that's why the Osmos, again, is going to have a big advantage, because it's optimized for the engine that's in it. And, to sort of wrap up my tirade here, I will say that it's a good thing the Osmos comes with a lot of really well-developed presets, because I've worked with some opaque synthesizer engines, but Egan Matrix takes the biscuit. It is incredibly deep, incredibly complicated, and Ed Egan has never been concerned with making the user interface on the computer easy to follow. It's intensely powerful, very expressive. You can do all kinds of stuff with it, but programming it, no thank you. So that's probably, if there's a reason why I get rid of my Osmos after I get it and play it for a while, it's probably going to be Egan Matrix. It's probably going to be me not being able to get past the fact that I'll never be able to do anything on this thing but play the presets. Yeah. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
There you go. Cool. No, all very, very valid and interesting points. I mean, Ken Lewis has just mentioned may finally drive the adoption of MIDI 2.0, which I think is, is something that is I wouldn't say it's been a non-starter, but it's had a very slow starting point.
I heard it wasn't really ready.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a long way from ready. And all the stuff they're adding isn't the stuff that people who use MIDI 1.0 want. Okay, you guys are all Brits. You must have grown up and you've seen the movie Thunderbird 6.
Yeah.
Right? The Thunderbirds movie where, the head of Thunderbirds has decided they need a Thunderbird 6. But he has no idea what it does. He has no idea what it's supposed to do. He has no idea what niche it fills. He just wants a number 6. And so Brains keeps building these ideas. And he's, nah, it's too specialized. Nah, I don't like it. And so he keeps smashing these models on the floor. And in the end, they slap the number 6 on a biplane.
Yeah.
Which was a part of the plot earlier in the movie. It's just like, well, it's battle tested. It works. And
it was the only thing that could land on the airship, wasn't it?
On the skyship, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, but, so this idea of we need something new. MIDI 1.0 has been around for too long. And, it doesn't matter that it's got these enormous capabilities. It doesn't matter that all of the problems with zipper noise and quantization have gone away with smoothing software, with the fact that it's now using USB, so you don't have, the lag that used to creep in. That doesn't matter. We need a MIDI 2.0 because it's got to be new. Something can't be any good if it's 30 odd years old. I mean, who plays the Yamaha CS80 and still likes it?
Oh,
right?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who plays a Mini Moog? If it's old technology, for a lot of these people, if it's old technology, it's just not good. And the stuff they're coming up with for MIDI 2.0, I was at some of the initial seminars where they were announcing this stuff and they were showing demonstration. The one thing it has for a performer, I think that is really noticeable is the 128 steps are gone. You now have 65,000 steps of resolution. And that's going to make a big difference for a lot of people. 7-bit is not enough.
Yeah.
And 14-bit is tricky, but 24-bit or 32-bit, you're going to be able to go a long way with this stuff. But then the other things they have is all it's like Internet of Things stuff. You plug a MIDI 2.0 keyboard into your DAW, and it not only knows what kind of keyboard it is, but it sets up configurations, it knows what the limitations and so forth are. Basically, it's a lot of smartphone stuff happening behind the scenes now, which people in really big studios have had to worry about. But I haven't seen any killer app. Aside from the increased resolution, which, by the way, would allow you to make a controller like the Pan or the Osmos that would actually be able to control properly. But aside from that, I haven't seen anything compelling yet. Roland keeps talking about the fact that they're now releasing keyboards which are MIDI 2.0 compatible. But I don't think anybody knows what that means, really.
What is that? Yeah, very true.
So,
do you think that Poly and Channel Aftertouch disappeared due to the load it placed on the CPU with Sequencer and DAW software?
No. Poly and Channel Aftertouch disappeared because of the load it placed on the tiny walnut brains of keyboardists. I don't want a piano that's squishy. All right. No, it was not. It was not the CPUs. It was
no.
It was
there was another thing which was I was talking to one of the Yamaha techs at UK, and he said makes the keyboards too expensive.
Oh yeah,
and most people don't want Aftertouch. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you listen to yourself when you're talking?
Obviously not, because they produced the Mode EX without any bloody Aftertouch.
Yeah, there you go.
But
there's so many machines that don't have it.
Yeah.
And Channel Aftertouch you can get away with, but it's still possible to screw that up.
Yeah.
If you own a Sequential Prophet VS and you play it on an A-frame stand instead of a table, using Aftertouch bends the motherboard.
Yeah.
You can still get that wrong. When you have a sensor under every key, Dave Smith came when he invented the Polyevolver, the original rack, he came to NAMM to show it off. He looked around the house, he needed a keyboard. And this is Dave Smith. He's got a Prophet T8 lying around, right? So you can imagine he walks into the NAMM show, he sets down a Prophet T8, and then he puts this box on top of it. And he's trying to sell the box. right? And after 2.5 days in, I walk by. I finally get a chance to stop into the sequential booth, and I look at Dave, and God bless him, he looks like he wants to kill somebody. And I said, "Oh God, let me guess." And he just looked at me and he went, "Yup, they all want the T8." So this whole idea of people not wanting or people not getting the most out of or whatever, it all comes down to the brain, because channel aftertouch, poly aftertouch. I brought up the T8 because it took I think Dave said that before you could sell one, it took 6 hours to calibrate the keyboard.
Right.
And it's now the stuff's much more reliable. It's easier to work with. So now it comes back. But for a long time, it was just people didn't want aftertouch.
Yeah.
And why spend the money on the mechanism if you didn't have to?
Yeah, true. I'm going to just draw this to a close, because obviously next week we've got an Osmos special, because we'll have an Osmos owner with his Osmos live on air. So stay tuned for that one. But there was just one final question, and this, I guess, is kind of pertinent, because the Roly Rise has been the one that kind of got there first in terms of alternative keyboard mechanism type things. Given that Roly has, or the company behind it has had a slightly checkered past, and is now getting Roly 2s out there, the fact that the Osmos is much more appealing in terms of the fact that it's a lot more like a normal keyboard.
It's
so
approachable.
Easy to get. It's approachable, that's the word. And it's got its own built-in engine, and it's only £1,800 or dollars or euros or whatever. Is it going to kill off the Roly? Is that it? Because how much is a Roly 2, Ken?
Well,
$10.99.
So 1100. So for another 700, you can have the Osmos with this amazingly powerful synthesizer and a much more approachable interface. What do you think?
No, it won't.
No, it won't.
No.
Synthetic in chat, Synthetic pegged it. You either like the Roly action or you don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
if I had a choice between, admittedly, I'm guessing here on half of this, but if I had to choose between playing a cello on an Osmos or playing it on the Roly Rise, I'd play it on the Roly Rise.
Yep. And I think that's true of any instrument that doesn't have quantized pitch. Woodwinds, you could still do a good job on the Osmos, but a violin or a cello or a fretless bass, you want that freedom. That either the only two instruments that do that are the Osmos, the Rollies and the instrument. You can do that on the instrument, but it's I think they're horses for courses.
Okay,
really.
so they'll be able to sit happily next to each other, and
I bet a lot of people will have them next to each other. I bet you'll see a lot of people who have a Rise and an Osmos on a stand.
Yeah, before we've even started, I'm going, yeah, I'm afraid so.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, look. Thanks, guys, for that input. The Osmos is available now to pre-order. If you want to get in there after those people that initially put their money down around 3 years ago have got theirs. I know that I've seen some disgruntled voices.
I'm in the second wave, and I have no idea when I'm going to get mine.
So I think the first batch of the ones that are being made available now are being initially promised to be delivered in May.
Yeah,
that's what some people have. You said that, and Mike Whalen said that as well.
Yep.
People
who ordered early are going to get them now, February, March.
Yeah.
But the new ones they're building May at the earliest.
Yeah. So it's going to be a while, but I guess it's going to be worth a wait.
Quick thing about Paul Torbert. The Continuum Mini is nothing like a Hacken Continuum. It is absolutely nothing like a Hacken Continuum. The Egan Matrix engine is roughly the same, but the actual tactile, I owned one and I kept it for a week. You are not getting a little tiny Continuum. You're getting something that is nothing like it. And for me personally, my friend Paul Vanook has one, adores it. takes it with him on every gig. But for me, again, I thought it was a cruel joke. I couldn't use it.
I had one.
Whatever.
I had one very, very briefly, and it was like a stylophone that had been built by a blind hyena.
Hey, don't knock hyenas. Hyenas are really cool animals.
Yeah, but the blind ones, they don't read the manual properly.
Well, you are so braille manuals, Kent. You've got a new.
Hey, it was down to them to print it, not me.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Well, listen, guys, thank you so much.
Enough.
You can go to expressivee.com and check out more about the Osmos there, and you can then click on the link and it will tell you which retailers stroke distributors are going to be having them in this new wave of pre-orders that started yesterday. You can put your money down. I believe they ask for $2.99 up front and then the balance before shipping.
They did that for the
nice.
originals too.
Yeah,
so
that's nice. There you go. Next week, if you missed what we said at the beginning of the show, next week we're going to have Ty Unwin on the show, who has got his Osmos. He got it a few days ago and has been waxing lyrical about it. So hopefully next week...
Well, hopefully lyrical will start waxing Ty.
Indeed. He'll be on the show next week talking about his experience, first-hand, hands-on experience, giving us a demo, hopefully, of some of those wonderful sounds, and just generally an Osmos show next week. Right, okay, so predictions. This is why we're here. What I thought we'd do first of all is recap last year's predictions, and obviously Kent wasn't on the show last year, so he gets off lightly here because we neither get to applaud him for getting it bang on the money, nor do we get to ridicule him for getting it so way off. So you can sit easy here. But myself, Ben, and Mike all made some predictions this time last year, and we're going to see how much we got right, and then we'll have a look at maybe what we think might happen this year. So I think we should start off with let me see. Oh God, now I can't remember which one it was.
Thank you, Wagyu.
Yeah, let's do this one. Oh yes, by the way, thank you, Wagyu, for your wonderful donation. I've got those VSTs that Yamaha put out in 2022. Yeah, all right, we'll get there. Thank you for your donation anyway.
We got wrong.
Yeah. Right, sorry, I'm getting all confused there. Buttons. Right, let's bring in, I'm hoping this is the right one. Ben, which one was the one? It's this one, isn't it? Let's try. Hang on.
It doesn't matter.
This could go spectacularly wrong.
I'll go on. Put quite a bit into the poll, so
true.
I'm not really gonna.
Well, pick two from there you genuinely think are going to happen.
Deviate much from there. I think it's about time that we saw one of these synths at Behringer have been.
The big polysynths, yeah.
Yeah, they've been going on about them for a while. There's the UBX, which had a bit of controversy around it over the naming, didn't it, and what have you. There's a chance that we could see that. I don't think there's much chance that we'll see the CS, what is it? BS? Bullshit 80? What is it? I don't know what it's called, but that one.
DS80, wasn't it?
DS80, yeah. Will we see that?
Wow, Daryl.
Maybe there's more chance of seeing that than this fabled Jupiter thing that they've got a circuit board for. I've not seen anything else about that. And then there's this PPG as well, isn't there? There's
oh yes, I'd forgotten about that.
And there's a PPG thing knocking about somewhere. So. Yeah, so I presume we'll see one of those.
I think that's a good bet. I think that's
a safe bet. I can't see us seeing anything from ASM because we've just had those two come out.
Oh yeah, and Udo has also they've done their big thing.
Is that desktop module out now? Can you
yes,
buy
it's landing.
Oh, right,
yeah,
right, okay. Yeah. Roland, I've kind of give up with them. I can't see them ever doing anything that I want again. Me personally, because
I see the Roland Cloud manager balked again today.
Well,
Everybody had to re-sign in, and when you did, you got sent to like a 504 page or something.
That's the only thing that they're doing at the minute that interests me is Roland Cloud. And it saddens me so much because it's a company that I'm absolutely really invested in. I've got like stuff through all the different generations, of gear that they've done, and some of my all-time favourites are by Roland, the JD800, the V Synth.
Adamski's just reminded me that Behringer were doing a Pro 600, weren't they, as well?
Oh, yeah.
So, there's all this stuff that's out there, Behringer Poly and...
Behringer Poly, some kind of poly aftertouch controller from somebody, maybe Arturia. I'd like to see that.
Be nice to see other people jump on that ship.
Yeah, there isn't anything like normal price range, it's all quite expensive stuff. And I know it's expensive to make, but ASM have shown that it can't be that expensive because Hydrosynth isn't that expensive. So it would be quite nice to see that in something. And no, I haven't got anything else. It's a bit poor, really, seeing as I came up.
Oh, well, there you go. That's what great. That was Ben a year ago.
No. Hang on, you've missed off. There's something dodgy going on here, because I did. I'm sure I did a section on Roland in there. Yeah, I'd check see if there's anything else.
No, you talked about
hang on. What's this?
Roland. Let's say Roland, for instance. They're a fantastic company. Looking forward to the future. I reckon. I reckon that they're going to come out with something maybe like the Juno that they had years ago. Maybe a bit like the Juno 106, say, that looks exactly like a 106, but had all kinds of new gubbins inside and that. That's what I think, anyway. I think it'll be like a Juno X, maybe they'd call it, or something like that. Who knows?
Oh, come on.
Yes,
you had me going. You had me going there for a second.
That was, I think everybody will agree that was absolutely astonishingly accurate.
Yeah, it was incredible. It's like you touched your inner Gaz there.
Oh my god. I've seen that's Japanese monster movie level lip sync there. That is.
Oh, fantastic.
No, but actually, Ben, you had a pretty good run there. There were small exceptions. I mean, for instance, you talked about a PPG thing coming out that everybody was super impressed with. It just wasn't a Behringer.
Yeah.
The third wave, right?
Yeah.
And you talked about the fact that you'd like to see Roland doing something beyond the cloud. Well, this was the year of the Jupiter X and the Jupiter XM and the Zencore stuff. And by the way, I have to really call out Roland. The newest Aerophone, the Aerophone Pro, is just an amazing wind controller. I have a lot of colleagues who play the EWI, and they're deserting it in droves for the Aerophone Pro. It's a remarkable instrument.
Even just for the name.
Well, yeah. And I'm just there were a couple of boutique modules. Thank you, Ken. Yeah, the JD08 came out and the JX08, which nobody liked because they weren't ACB. But no, Ben, that was not bad.
Nice one.
But the big one that didn't happen was, of course, anything from
Behringer.
From Behringer.
That was chips. It was just chips.
Allegedly, yeah. Everyone else was able to bring products to market except Behringer. So yeah, I'm sorry, I don't buy that excuse anymore from them. Yeah. I really don't. I'm being serious. I do not buy that excuse from them anymore.
It was never an excuse anyway.
Because last year we had some amazing instruments, like we've spoken about, third waves and other stuff, all turned up, all had chips in them. And I'm sorry, Behringer. Behringer are a company that own a company that make chips.
Yeah, there is that, isn't there?
I don't buy that. I don't buy that at
They
all.
should be least affected by the chip shortage.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting. But maybe this will be the year. So there you go. That was Ben's predictions. My math isn't working today.
When does it ever?
Well, this is true. Let's go to. Well, let's hear what I had to say, shall we?
Okay.
This is me 1 year ago. Let's see how much I've changed.
I've been able to scratch off a fair number of them because
Okay.
we've discussed.
Oh no, that's Mike. Why have
Quite
I
a
done?
lot.
I've got those. Yeah, I've changed quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Let's do that again. I was thinking about this and thinking, I've got to be careful, because I know stuff that I can't talk about, that would get me lots of, brownie points at the end of the year, but would also mean that I lose a lot of work. So I've got to be careful. But I'm going to be a little bit more vague, and I genuinely think 2022 could become the year that software really kind of grabs more of a foothold in the market, simply because it's it circumvents all of the hardware issues that people are up against. I would love to say that 2022 is the year where the effects of a global pandemic that have been had on the population, the workforce, the shipping, the components, and all of that kind of stuff goes away. But we thought this last year. We thought in 2021 things would just level out and get back to normal. And then at the end of the year, it all went peaked on. So, I don't know. It's kind of difficult, really. I was really, apart from some of the things I put on the list there.
Sorry, Espen was talking about stuffing his dead grandmother. It was quite disturbing and weird.
Yeah, I saw that. And yeah,
Stuffing circuit boards on a Moog.
Yeah, so there was this. He did this JX8P versus the boutique version. He did a comparison, and he used this analogy. And I'm sorry, I just had to put it down to maybe something got lost in the translation. I know that there are some weird practices all over the world, but it was just a very odd analogy. Go and watch it if you must. Anyway. So I think software is going to be a big thing this year, simply because it's going to circumvent a lot of the hardware issues, and I don't think they're all going to go away. I think that even if the supply chain lifts up again, and I mean, again, I have these wonderful conversations with Kent during the day, and he was talking about manufacturers taking an opportunity to ditch a lot of the old stuff that they've been doing and now can't do, and move to more efficient methods for them, which lots of surface mount stuff rather than through hole stuff, and just making things more difficult to repair, I guess. So I don't know. I just think software is gonna be a big thing. I agree with Ben that I think we will probably see something from them that's going to be quite big and popular on the polyphonic front eventually, because they've been promising it for a while. So, and I don't think they're immune. They're definitely not immune to the chip shortages, which is why I think we've seen them take their foot off the gas. I think other than that, I mean, it's difficult because I know stuff is going to happen in 2022 and I can't tell you about it. So I shan't. But I think that's really all I can muster. Well, there you go. I got Behringer wrong too. I thought they would do it, but they didn't. And I don't think my software prediction that it would become, that we would be inundated with. I mean,
Cherry Audio.
We've had loads of great software, but I don't think it's been proportionately more than the hardware, because the hardware industry bounced back really well last year. And we had some great new products. We had the OBX8. We had the third wave. We've had loads of great hardware. The Mini Freak. I'm trying to think what else has come out. We've had lots of wonderful things from smaller companies like Sonicware.
The GX80. Well, that's software. There were
but we've got 2022 was kind of the year everything kind of got back to normal, and I thought back then that we would still be suffering, and we weren't, thankfully. And it's a great thing. I mean, yes, we have lost a few of the smaller manufacturers along the way. I think another one went just the other day, which is a real shame. But there's some really good stuff happening all around. So yeah, what the f do I know? And honestly, somebody was asking in the chat. I can't remember what it was I couldn't talk about now.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah,
I'm
so
trying
was
to
I.
think.
Was it not the Mini Freak?
Didn't know about the Mini Freak a year ago. No. Might have been some software stuff. I can't remember. And there's stuff now I could... So my predictions for this year are again tempered by the fact that there are things I know about. I'll have to write these things down, so when it comes to next year, I say, yeah, this is what I was privy to. But yeah, what do I know? Nothing, apparently. Not really. But then no surprises there. So shall we see what Mike thought a year ago? And let's see.
Why not?
Now, I do have to point out that both Ben and mine's, and first of all, huge thank you and a massive round of applause to Mr. Ben Simpson, who at very short notice has edited these clips from last year's show. And of course, a massive congratulations for the spoof thing, which I thought was utterly brilliant. It was even funnier.
You had me going for a little while.
It was even funnier the second time around, and I'm going to keep that video and treasure it forever. It's fantastic. But so, massive thank you, Ben, for sorting all of this stuff out. No problem. Now, Ben sent me the files over. He said, "Here you go. I've edited them as quickly as I can, and I looked at the file sizes because we have to be careful how much we upload." And Mike's one racked up at 750 megabytes. It was almost a gig in size because he went on for a good 10 minutes.
And this surprises whom?
Exactly. Exactly. So sit back and relax for 10 minutes of Mike Metlay, 1 year younger than he is today, telling us what he thinks might be coming in the future, or what might have come in the future that we've just left behind in the past.
Popcorn and pop a beer.
Yeah, if you need to take a coffee break, maybe now's the time.
I want to touch on some. A lot of these are not specific. A lot of these are wider. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if they'll count as predictions or not, because I'm casting a pretty wide net. The one I am going to say that I'm fairly confident about is that Pianotech is going to ship for iOS. Nicholas Fogwall at ModArt and I have been good acquaintances, not quite friends, for a long time. He's a great guy. He announced in 2020 that they were developing for iOS, and they were hoping it would get out in 2021. Because of a thread on Music Player Network, I wrote him an email and asked, and he said, "Yeah, they're making progress, but it's slow." And I think that they're going to see a big boost, because I think what they were waiting for were these massively powerful ARM chips to become available in the iPad Pro. And I think that an M1 chip on iOS now makes sort of a streamlined version of Pianotech very, very likely. Mm-hmm. The other problem I think they're having is, like anybody who wants to port to iOS, they have to figure out how much functionality they're going to give, considering that they're going to have to charge a whole lot less. But I think that's probably a pretty good guess, and I think we're going to see more along that line. We're going to see more iOS stuff, but a lot of it is going to start in iOS. Cresshead, I am very sorry. They're never going to put it on Android. Android may be the worst operating system for anything involving real-time audio that has ever been invented. There's a tiny handful of Android apps that are just, if all you've got is an Android phone, hey, great. But iOS has got core audio and core MIDI locked down so tight that it's easy to develop an amazing an amazing iOS music app because all the heavy lifting's been done. And when you come to conflicting standards and conflicting operating systems and people not upgrading and people upgrading, and it's Android is a dark, scary swamp. And a lot of people have tried. A lot of the major players have tried. IK Multimedia put a huge effort into it a few years ago, and they lost their shirts on it. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry, Cresshead. Just sorry, not going there. Okay. And Dina, thank you very much for saying that my voice is awesome on your stereo, because after all, I've got a face made for radio.
Yeah, and can I just say, Dina, what are we? Chopped liver?
Well, I don't think my voice sounds nice on radio, to be honest.
Anyway, yes, back to you, Mike.
Well, and by the way, along that line, both in the Mac and in the in iOS, we're going to start seeing a lot more optimization and development for ARM chips. I think it's a no-brainer because we're on a 2-year cycle. We're about a year into a 2-year cycle, and they're not going to be selling any Intel machines anymore. It's just it's stupid. You look at these videos, and they've got literally a totally maxed out $150,000 Mac Pro up against a $2,000 MacBook Pro that just shipped, and it's funny. The one place where the Mac Pro actually still wins is Logic, but only by like 30% in terms of performance, and everything else it just gets blown away. So it's a big paradigm shift, and we're going to see more of that happening with effects, with DAWs, with virtual synthesizers, all of it. So that's not something I expect us to come back to too much in a year, but I think we can count on that. A couple of more controversial ones that I'm willing to put on this video. I think we're going to see more and more serious developers of sample libraries moving away from Contact. I think we're going to be seeing more people like Spitfire stepping away from Contact libraries and doing their own engine, and there's going to be pushback on that. Because so many people use Contact, and so people are familiar with the articulation and sample layering controls and all that. So trying to build something that can do what Contact does, as a framework, is hard. And I think what's interesting about Spitfire is that they haven't even tried. Their interface is simpler, but it's so much easier to use that people are just like shrugging their shoulders and saying, yeah, we can get what we need out of this. And, and I should point out that I haven't worked a lot with the really high-end Spitfire libraries, but the stuff they've been doing for 29 quid, the cinematic stuff is just so much fun. And then there's labs. There's an easy prediction. We're going to have 12 more labs
at least
in 2022, and they're all going to be wonderful, and they're all going to be fun to use. Here's a couple of other little ones. I think we're going to see more modeling, just in general, as processors get better. We're going to see. Finally, we're going to start seeing people make serious use of MIDI 2.0. Right now, it's out there. There are a couple of synths that say they're MIDI 2.0 compatible, but part of the problem is people tend to forget that MIDI wasn't a sure thing until about 1986. It was early, and it took a long time to really get its legs under it. This may be the year that we start seeing somebody really taking advantage of MIDI 2.0, but if you're not a designer, if you're not a software engineer, the advantages that are in MIDI 2.0 are very hard to quantify and explain to the average musician. They're there, but they're hard to explain. So we're going to see forward progress, but I don't know how much. Here, and then a couple of really controversial ones that I'm going to wrap up with. I don't know where Rolly is going to be in a year. They've had some ups and some downs, and they've had tons of outside help, and there are people who adore their product. But my prediction is that they're not. Even though they're pushing hard to try to refine what they have, I don't think we're going to see anything new from them. And so I'd like to be wrong, but there's that. 2022 is going to be the year when I think we see more of the big synthesizer manufacturers get into building products that are designed to teach this stuff. Korg did the NTS-1, Moog did the Workstat, Modal did the original Craft Synth. And I think we're going to see more of that. I think we're going to see people putting out stuff that's designed more for the student, the experimenter. I think we're going to see a real push toward these companies making people more informed, so they're more interested in buying. Because this stuff can be intimidated. And last but not least, this one I'm not sure I believe, but it should be good for lots of commentary on the YouTube page. Will 2022 be the year that Eurorack peaks?
Ooh.
Are we going to see peak Eurorack in 2022? Because there's been this flurry of gorgeous new modules. But how long can it keep up? So there you go, guys. People think I hate modular because I don't do it myself, but I think the Eurorack ecosystem is fascinating, and it allows for so much. And I wonder, how what I'd love to see is a real renaissance in the Eurorack modular, or any modular as a given element in wider genres of music. I'd like to see more people doing stuff all over EDM and into beyond just experimental stuff, using the Eurorack modular to create musical feelings, musical environments that you can't do any other way. And that's something I'd like to see. I'd like to see Eurorack continue to flourish, but I'm more worried about it flourishing creatively than I am in terms of, more and more modules and more market share.
Well, there you go.
I was keeping track, and I did okay, not great.
Well,
but okay.
let's see how well you did, Mr. Metlay. So I think your first
That's
prediction was
Dr. Metlay, you coward peasant.
piano tech for iOS.
Yeah, that I biffed that one big
Yeah.
time. In fact, I haven't talked to Nicholas in almost a year, and I honestly don't know where they are with it. I don't know if they dumped it or not, and I feel terrible about that.
Yeah.
More iOS apps, specifically for iOS in the music world. Yeah, hundreds of them. They're all over the place, and some of the new ones are really, really, really good. No Android renaissance for music.
Kel Surprise.
Yeah. Software moving more to ARM processors. Duh.
Well, yeah.
Now, here's an interesting one. Less contact and more pushback because of it. Spitfire is still doing contact libraries, but nowhere near as many. And they've got more engines. What we haven't seen, and I'm going to call myself on this, we haven't seen other companies going in that direction.
No.
East West has its own engine. Best Service has its own engine. Spitfire has its own engine. There may be one or two, but none of them, we haven't seen a big influx the way I thought we would. So I'm going to give myself an X on that. 12 more labs. No, they did 9. So fail.
Well,
More
Too
modeling.
bad.
Again, more modeling, a no-brainer. MIDI 2.0. Somebody shoot me. Somebody shoot me. Yeah. Rolly actually surprised me with the Rise 2.
Yeah.
They had a new product.
Which was 100% more than we thought they would. So
Yeah, exactly. More big makers getting into educational style synthesizers. Too bad. So sad. And then, but the last one, mainly because of the chip shortage. I think we may have seen peak Eurorack. There are companies dying right and left, and we may have seen peak Eurorack. So I'm standing firm on that one.
Well, also, and you were talking about the creative use of Eurorack in a more musical sense, and I don't know what it's like in the US, but certainly over here in the UK and I think in Europe as well, there's been this massive surge of EMOMs, electronic music open mic nights, and it's really, really taken off. And a lot of people that do that are using modular or semi-modular stuff. There's a lot of creativity going on there, musical creativity, rather than just people experimenting with bleeps, bloops, and farts. So yeah, has it plateaued? Maybe, I don't know. I'm not really I'm not into that arena.
I don't do it myself, but the Colorado Modular Synth Society is very big and very up on things, and the Rocky Mountain Synth Meet tends to look at this stuff very carefully. And the big talk right now is not about new tech. The big talk right now are about firms that are dying. We had a really beloved local Eurorack manufacturer have to close its doors. WMD, which was the fact that mutable instruments of all things is a problem. So I'm really, really thinking that I may have been right on that. And I hope more people don't lose their jobs, but I think we may be seeing a pretty severe settling in at this point.
Yeah. Yes, it's interesting, but I think between us, we got a lot wrong.
Oh yeah,
but we got a few bits right, and that's that. Yeah,
I think
some of it, is kind of obvious. Thank you. Manny's in the chat. He's obviously on his lunch break. You can do a really accurate fart with Eurorack modules and modulate across
cuisine inputs. So there's a Mexican fart. There's a German bratwurst fart.
I'm so looking forward to hanging out with Manny.
The Oxford Puff.
No, he's a
the
riot.
Oxford Puff. Yeah.
I adore Manny. Manny is a riot. Manny is several riots. In fact, Manny may be an entire coup d'etat with foreign backing.
I feel like I will need to go to my dentist before I meet him to make sure that I pass muster as well. Or maybe he can do some work on the side for me. Anyway.
Which side? Left, right, upper, lower?
Yeah, they're all as bad as each other. Right, okay, so we've got half an hour left of the show. So I think now is about the time where we... so we'll bookmark this point, Ben.
Yes.
Hour and a half into the show. That's all we need to review this time next year, and we'll maybe do it better. Somebody suggested we do a PowerPoint.
Yuck.
I spent my entire working day stopping people from using PowerPoint because they think it's a good thing. Let's see. Well, let me just before we do anything, I need to. We've had because whilst Mike was going on last year again, we had some donations to Mr. Daryl Bergen. Thank you so much for your $20. It is so appreciated. Thank you very much for that. To Homegrown as well. Thanks for all the great content and providing a great hub for the community. Wishing you all a great year ahead, and I wish Andy Wilder Viper Graphics a speedy recovery. Yeah, we don't know the exact details of Andy's predicaments, but Viper Graphics, who do all our merchandise, are currently kind of offline. But they contacted us today publicly and said that they will hopefully have something going fairly soon. So watch this space and we'll let you all know what's going on there. And of course, Mr. Andrew Brooks, our wonderful moderator. You have to pay us. You're doing work. But thank you. Eurorack on PSN. Fab. Yeah, maybe that's a prediction for next year. Maybe we'll do more. No, maybe not.
No, I'll predict that we don't do anymore.
No. There are plenty of good shows that do lots of really good Eurorack content. In fact, one will be on tomorrow, Ranzy's show. Ranz is always doing stuff on Eurorack, and he does it way better than we could because he knows his stuff. He knows his onions. So yeah, we'll let the experts do that. But again, big thank you to Andrew Brooks for being one of our moderators in the chat. Who else have we got moderating tonight? Is there anyone else in there?
Well, there was Ben and Kent, but I don't think
is Andy. Andy's a moderator, isn't he?
Yeah, Andy.
So
Andy was in
massive
there,
thank you to you, Andy, Synth Addict as well. Thank you. And to all our moderators for the wonderful jobs that you do. Let's see. So we'll come.
Oh my gosh! I am so sorry. Fane MLH. That's Mike Hunter of Ambient, an amazing musician who also he works at EMIAP, the Philadelphia-based museum, and he's got a great collection of his own stuff and is an amazing musician. And I just realized who he was. Hi, Mike. Sorry.
There you go. No, it's fine. There was a question from Jason about when CME might be on the show again because of their new Bluetooth audio, the IWE.
Say it. We all need a drink. Say it.
Widdy.
Oh, yeah. Drink.
There we go. Well, they've got their new Bluetooth technology, which is Bluetooth, very low latency Bluetooth audio, high resolution Bluetooth audio. IWE, I think, is the name of the product. And the pre-registering began very recently. Yeah, as soon as they have some stuff that we can demonstrate and talk about, actual real world stuff finalized, then of course we'll have Thomas. I don't know if we'll ever get Zhao on because obviously 8 hours ahead it's sometimes not feasible, but
he's a wonderful guy.
He is.
I met him before when CME was just starting to get established in the States, long before he was doing the X Key or anything else. We were sitting next to each other on a plane heading for NAMM, and we just happened to be sitting together, and we started talking. We struck up a friendship. He's a wonderful guy. Absolutely wonderful.
Really cool guy there. So fingers crossed we'll get those people back on with some cool stuff to talk about. Right, so we need to make our predictions for 2023. So let's do this in a slightly different order. Kent, you've had time to sit there and ruminate and cogitate and anything else that ends in 8. What are your thoughts for 2023? What do you think might happen? Just I will remind you here, remember your NDAs.
Talk about sidestepping a bloody minefield.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because there are some big things coming out.
Yeah.
Damn. I can imagine Roland doing a new synth. I think what they'll do is they'll clone the DeepMind 12. Just to go. You. Let's see what else. I think I'd like to see more polyphonic modular Eurorack stuff.
Okay.
Something that supports polyphony more. From whoever wants to, take that up, please.
Okay, polymodular.
If you want to get people into more people into modular, I don't know. I know there's going to be. This is kind of cheating, isn't it? There is going to be some developments for a lot of various vintage keyboards in terms of new controllers and accessories and stuff like that, and a massive Timberwolf update coming up.
Oh, of course.
But that's because I'm doing it, so
you're doing it.
It doesn't really count, does it? Because you get to the end and you go, "Oh, how did you guess?" I think it's about time that Korg pulled their finger out and brought out another flagship
To replace or to follow up from Oasis?
No, the Nautilus, which is their latest thing.
Yeah, or even a hark back to what the Oasis was.
Right, okay.
And do a proper flag, Rolls-Royce flagship. Because there only seems to be 2 markets now. It's the right down the bottom and right up the top. And the middle now is becoming a little bit too cluttered. So to stand out, you want to do something incredibly cheap or something incredibly expensive. So I think we'll see one or two flagship hardware synths come out this year.
Okay, cool. So, and then flagship. I'm writing these down for next year. Okay, Ben.
Software wise, I think I could just cheat and say, we're going to see Cubase 13
Already.
Yeah, £1 less than Cubase 13.
Yeah. No, I reckon we might have a chance of seeing Omnisphere 3 come out.
Okay,
because they did that like kind of intermediary announcement with those plug-in things that they come up with for it, and I don't think that's been a huge success. I don't know.
Sorry. ASIO Head predicts that Ben will download many softwares but won't install them.
Yeah,
I was going for the hard one.
So I think Omnisphere 3 could be a possibility. Okay. I'm going to go with that. I think that like you might start seeing GeForce. I reckon could follow the Oddity 3 with some more revisions to the the earlier synths like the Oscar and the Imposter,
like an update. Or a new synth.
Like because they all seem the Oddity's so revitalized with that update that it'd be nice to see that go through some of the others in the back catalogue. I mean, this is more of a wish list than a predictions thing. But
you never know.
Nord, what's happened to Nord? They haven't done anything for what seems like ages, and there were like bugbears about like the action of the keyboards and stuff like that. So maybe some kind of Nord with a new keyboard and hopefully a synth. Not just like one of these like do it all keyboard things.
Okay.
I think they were the specifics there. I think Nord will come up with some kind of new, well, hopefully new Nord wave or something. See Omnisphere 3. I'd like to see a drum machine like the TR-8S came out a while back now. So I'd like to see that refreshed Roland come up with a new kind of flagship drum machine, hopefully.
Okay.
That'd be good. It'd be really good if they did it like the TR-808 or the 909, like they did with the Juno X. So we get a drum machine that looks vintage, but
and then can load up all the models.
Can do a lot more. That'd be pretty nifty if they did that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Do with the parts.
Yeah. But I had another one as well. I can't remember the other one, but they're my main ones. Yeah.
Well, in a year's time, you can say, that thing that happened halfway through the year. That was what I was going to say back in Jan. That was it.
Yeah. I'll just go to the cutting room floor again and get another clip that we've missed.
You do that. Cool. Okay, so we've got Kent's, we've got Ben's. What about you, Mike? Bear in mind that we've got to edit this next year. So...
No. My list is much shorter.
Cool.
Most important of all, anodized aluminum fidget spinners. We're going to see anodized titanium fidget spinners. We're going to see a huge influx of those. So keep an eye on Kickstarter.com. Anyway, more seriously, I do think, based on the Osmos discussion, that we're going to start really seeing competition in the realm of multidimensional expression keyboards. Fatar came out with an action that Waldorf is using on their keyboards. ASM is no longer the only, keyboard action out there. Roll-E somehow is still alive. And the Osmos, of course, is and we're starting to see stuff. Eventually ASM is going to come out with something new, but I don't know if it will be this year. So my first prediction is lots more of these multi-expression things, and most of them are going to be designed around a keyboard model so that people can understand them quickly. So that's one of my predictions. Another prediction, and I wish I could say this was a joke, but it's really not. Daryl asked about clap. And I honestly,
I'd go and see a doctor about that, but yeah.
God, I've just got over COVID, haven't I?
And that's the point. That plug-in standard is a great idea, but because of the goddamn name, it's never going to catch on, because no manufacturer is ever going to say, and now we've got clap. And Urs Heckman probably hates me for saying it, but it's a stupid name, and you need to change it quick, because nobody is taking it seriously.
True.
And then let me see, anything else? Those are my big ones. A lot more companies that are building apps for iOS are going to port them over to the Mac.
Yes.
And that's easy, and in many cases the OS can do it by itself. But hopefully, this is not a prediction, this is a hope. Hopefully we'll start seeing some Mac OS apps starting to move into iOS in simpler. Piano Tech was supposed to be one, and I still don't know if that's ever going to happen. Other predictions. Behringer will not ship any of their big machines. Behringer will not finish any of their big machines. The little tiny ones are going to start coming out as the chip shortages ease, assuming that chip shortage is even really a thing there. But I don't think they're going to finish any of their big ones yet. Now, I should note, I've said this before about Behringer. If it is very, very rare that they announce a product, and then, especially a synth product, and then never ship it. It may take them years, but this is Uli loves keyboards. He started out building synthesizers, and he does not like to be dissed. And the fact that he's made these predictions and people are doing things, it's going to happen. If anything comes out, it's going to be the UBXA, but that CS80 clone, God knows.
Yeah, it's way in the distance.
There we are.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There. Concise even.
Nice one.
If I was Behringer, I'd abandon the UBXA now.
Well, yeah. It is. There's
No, because
Why?
who can afford an OBX8?
quite a few
who can
people,
afford-
apparently. I'm seeing them everywhere.
Exactly. But
From
the
that point of
is
view,
that-
yeah, I understand, yeah. But
No, it's all this entitlement. It's I want something, and I don't want to spend a lot of money for it, and I just want it. And because I want it, I get to have it, and because I have it, I get to rewrite reality to say that what I have is just as good as what I can't afford. You know, that's what you hear all the time. I bought a Behringer, whatever, and it's as good as, whatever. Everybody says it, and they make some good gear. The DeepMind 12 was a very fine synthesizer, and so was the Neutron. When they get original ideas, they're quite remarkable. But just I wish they didn't. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm done.
No, cool. So.
Oh my gosh! Hold on. Fred Becker, Osmos by Expressive E looks real for 2023.
For some people,
Fred,
real in 2022.
Well, yeah, Fred. I don't know you as well as I should, but I can't tell if you're being sarcastic because they're already shipping, right?
They're already in people's houses.
Yeah.
Of course, another nice little reminder there to plug next week's show. Osmos special with one in the show and somebody playing it properly. Right, let me think. So some of you guys have mentioned things like Poly Aftertouch. So I mentioned Poly Aftertouch controllers, I think, at some point last year. And I again, I wish somebody would. So I'm going to say it again in case somebody's listening. We had Glenn Darcy on the show, and he intimated, without giving specifics, he intimated that they have a mechanism license with someone. So somebody's licensed their technology to use. He didn't say who. When Waldorf announced their Poly AT, we thought, oh, and then it wasn't. It was Fatah. So people are making these things. Let's have just forget your fancy Osmoses and your fancy Rolly Rises. Let's have an Arturia, Keystep, whatever, with Poly AT, or whichever controller manufacturer. That would be great. So I'm going to do that one again. A Poly Aftertouch controller. I predict something new from Oberheim this year. Again, based on the fact we had Marcus on the show, and when we politely asked him, knowing full well he wouldn't tell us if there was, I got a sense that something has been in the works for a while, and I think this is now we're on a roll. Maybe it's going to be one new Oberheim instrument a year.
I am not working with Marcus right now. He is a friend, and he may get really pissed off if I say something, but I've got a guess as to what it's going to be.
Well, I'm hoping it might begin with an M and end in an X.
I don't think.
But don't jeopardize anything. But I'm hoping.
Not another Modex.
Oh, great!
Or it could be, as somebody said, Culture of Ghosts has said, an Oberheim rack. So maybe a desktop version of the
He'll finally get the OBMX to work right.
But I think we will see something new from Oberheim because I want stuff from
Manny's pointed out that Oberheim has registered some trademarks that are pretty famous.
Yeah. So, and I was on another subject of clap. So
get the cream.
I think I've started to see now more clap adoption, and like you said, I wish they had just thought of something different for the name.
Chlamydia.
Chlamydia.
Perfect. Syphilis.
Yeah.
It's the herpes. So I'm predicting that 2023 will be the year that clap, and hopefully whatever it's going to be named after that, will kind of take off and become adopted by most of the major platforms, and we'll start seeing, because I'm starting to get emails from companies saying new update contains clap. Please change the name. Stop this. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what the benefits are to an end user yet. I've not seen anything massive, but yeah.
Well, it isn't about. I don't know if it's about added feature set. I think it's more about the fact of just having one goddamn, that isn't licensed from somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know if Apple charges for AU licensing.
But
knowing Apple, they probably would, wouldn't they?
I don't know. Mac OS upgrades are free. Nobody ever has to pay for Mac OS or iOS upgrades
or Logic upgrades.
And so I think it's the fact that it's free and open source is going to make a big deal to some people. And the fact is, though, AAX, Pro Tools, they're never going to support anything but AAX because they need control over that ecosystem. But pushing VSTs and AUs aside in favor of one format, there's a good possibility there.
It'll be nice. This one is a prediction that I hope doesn't come true, but I have a horrible, horrible feeling it is, and it is the AI, basically, and it's going to be the increased prevalence of AI within our little world, our little ecosystem. AI creating music, controlling aspects of whether it's engineering or mixing, or I'm not scared of it. I just don't want it, because music is a form of human communication, and anything that removes a human element from that process, to me, is not advantageous. I don't, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, it can take care of the mundane stuff,
No,
the repetitive stuff." I don't want that. I don't want it. But I think it's going to get a real foothold this year.
And the music it creates is going to be very predictable, samey, and crappy. And it's going to appear all over YouTube influencer videos.
Yep.
And nobody's going to notice the difference. That's the thing that's really upsetting.
I think AI is going to be the pop music of 2023, 2024. It's going to be what all the kids listen to. And I think you're going to start seeing places marking, I think this was mentioned on Sonic State this week, places marking themselves as human produced. It's going to be a badge of honor now.
Real
that's
music
disturbing.
for real people.
Yeah, it's
real
disturbing people. That's even.
And Manny says, have AI program FM, and it can have a seizure, like taking out the memory from HAL. I'll program.
But I saw an advert in I think it was my Facebook feed. It was a genuine advert for a genuine company, for a genuine product that said, let AI write your blog posts. Now, as somebody who writes professionally for music technology, that disturbs me greatly. But also, it gives me a little bit of hope, because I don't think that an AI bot could have the sort of ideas and processes that we as human writers have.
Yeah, well, my resume ever since I hung out my own shingle, my resume is I can write and I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. People just go, and unfortunately, in this day and age, when you've got everybody and his brother making YouTube videos claiming they know what they're talking about, basically, I performed extensive research, means I watched somebody else's crappy video.
Yeah.
And so there's always going to be a market for someone who actually knows what the hell they're talking about.
I hope so. I do.
Oh God, I hope so too, because I'm still trying to pay off this shack I live in.
Quite.
Anyway.
So yeah, I think that they're my main ones. I mean, I would still like to see Yamaha get into the plug-in game, or just simply produce an innovative synthesizer that's not just a derivative of something else. I also somebody predicted in the chat that Moog will release the Moog Stepmom, which I thought was a great prediction, and I hope that does come true.
Or the Moog Karen.
Or the Moog Karen.
It just goes off at you for no apparent reason.
Yeah. And I wish Roland would make a new electric piano with drones for speakers. Oh wait, that's actually real. That happened the other day. You can buy this electric piano from Roland, and it has 4 speakers, and they're drones, and they sit around you.
Why?
They better be quiet drones.
There's no such thing as a quiet drone.
So yeah, well, that was their thing. That they promised us. I got a news thing a couple of weeks ago from Roland that said we're going to make some announcements. There's a couple of new drum kits, and they've been announced. And then there's this thing about we're going to release this thing to celebrate, kind of cap the 50th anniversary thing, and and it turns out it's this piano with drone speakers, not speakers that make drone sounds, actual drones as speakers.
Yeah.
Oh, Roland, where hast thou gone?
Hopefully making that drum machine.
Hopefully, yeah.
There must be a way to make a drone as a synth controller.
Oh god, an AI-powered drone.
Why?
There is one, isn't there? Isn't the Game Changer Audio's got like drone engines in it as the oscillators?
Game Changer Audio has so many things that make absolutely no sense, and yet sound brilliant.
Yeah.
I have no idea how they do it. An optical spring reverb, and a sustain pedal for a guitar. I've got to get myself one of those. They're nuts. I love them. They're nuts.
I'd also like to predict that this year you'll see me out and about with lots of DXs that is going to happen. And there will be a coming together of great DX passion sometime in October, and I'll more details coming soon on that one. But there will be something rather special happening in October.
Should we make predictions about each other? No. No. Never mind.
I reckon, just a quick one. I reckon that there might be a Yamaha controller keyboard on the way.
Really?
Yeah, I think that it might be a range of smaller ones, you know, like, you know.
They've done such a great
desktop
job.
music. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think, anyway.
Well, Wagoo's just made a prediction here that where is it? Here we go.
2023, Robbie will finally buy a Take a 16.
That's pretty much true already.
Yeah.
I got the wife's go ahead.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So hopefully, fingers crossed, might be picking it up next week. So yeah, that's already true. Great. But then I think, come on, Wagoo, I've not really been quiet on that front.
I'm still waiting for the Moog MILF.
The Moog MILF.
Still waiting.
That'll be good.
For heaven's
predictions
sake.
about my own studio and that. I'd like to think that I'd get some kind of synth this year. I didn't buy anything in 2022. I don't think. I made Robbie's prediction accurate because I've moved completely away from hardware and went totally software based in 2022. Not based, but purchase wise. I only bought software. Got some okay stuff, but I'd like to think that there's a nice hardware synth going to appear in the studio at some point this year.
I know. See, this is the NDA thing. There will be a new hardware synth in here, and it's going to be a new hardware synth. But I can't say what it is yet. But it will be here, hopefully, fairly soon. But that'll be interesting. Yeah. So there you go. Look, predictions are down. We will. Honestly, they're running with your mode concept here, Ken.
Aren't they just? Yeah, much better than the one I did.
Quite. So we will come back to these next year, and we'll see if Kent gets his polyphonic modular or Korg flagship. And we'll see if Ben gets Omnisphere 3 or something new from Nord, or that Roland X drum machine. That would be good. The TRX.
It'll be,
the TRX. There we go. We've even given it a name. And we'll see if Mike gets more multi-expression, and we'll see if Clap gets a new name. More iOS ports, and
no polysynths from Behringer.
Nothing from Behringer.
Yeah.
I really,
which means that they probably will, because last year we said we'd get loads of things and nothing happened. So really we should just say,
well,
Behringer might buy Twitter.
Well, they couldn't make it any worse, could they? And then they'd call it bitter.
Yeah.
Well, it is already. So.
Well, true. They won't need to do much work in that regard.
It's a marketing platform for bullshit. There you go.
Quite absolutely. Perfect fit. So, listen, everyone that's watched the show today, thank you so much. There's so many comments to get through. Actually, I forgot about these. So, Ken Lewis, what about Korg's software version of their hardware? I'm not entirely sure, because they did do that, didn't they? They did the mod wave, the wave state, and the op6.
Did they do the mod wave?
Yeah, came out.
I think that was posted around the time of your prediction of moving away from hardware to software. So I think Ken is probably referring to that.
Fair enough. No, that's not a problem. Ian, so Wagyu says cool. They didn't release the rack versions of the op6, the mod wave, and the wave state, which was one of his.
That's a brilliant move. That
yeah,
I'd have them. Well, I've got the software now, so maybe I don't need them, but...
Yamaha will make a miniature 88-key keyboard, which will be the size of an Arturia key step.
Wow.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, that's from Prometheus UK.
Ian
predicts modal takeover
Behringer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully not the other way around.
Yeah. Fred said, I think this is probably never going to happen, but an 88-key controller from CME.
No chance.
Yeah.
No chance. They're not doing anything on the on the X key design anymore. And Mike, I can tell you this right now: your prediction about me is wrong. There is not another book with my. There are titles from Bukes that are in the work right now, but Synth Gems 2 is right now not scheduled for 2023. It'll be 2024 at the earliest.
You heard it here first. I like this one because I think this is a stone cold guaranteed. Absolutely.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Teenage Engineering will probably make a new mixer, but only amoebas can use it.
Yes.
Have you guys ever actually seen and touched that thing?
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
I reached for it, but I dropped it and I never found it again.
Yeah. It vanished into the carpet.
Yeah, I think the robot Hoover picked it up.
Yeah. The abiding memory of that Teenage Engineering mixer was when the demonstrator said you can rotate the knobs with the tip of your finger.
Yeah, great. No, Wagyu actually asked a serious question, and I wish I knew the answer, Wagyu. He said, will the NTS2 from Korg ever ship? And honestly, I simply don't know. We're hoping so because Korg has a lot invested in that instrument and in the bundles. But they finally gave us permission to sell the book on our own, and it's been selling well. So I'm really hoping that this doesn't turn into that they're eventually able to get it out and it does everything that the prototype does.
Yeah.
So we're crossing our fingers there.
A new synth from PWM, who are one of the people that we talked about last week for the awards, and the Malevolent being a cracking little introduction to them. So maybe something with full-size keys, Keith in Watford says.
The
Grace,
Maleficent.
yeah, Grace says, I predict the cardboard cutout behind Kent will come to life one day. We hope so.
Yeah.
We do hope so.
It's
interesting.
And finally, the Roly Fleshlight will run into certification issues.
Yeah, you can get around that. You buy two Rollies and put one on top of the other. But it's not the reason I have two Rollies, by the way.
She's greater.
I don't want
She's
to know
greater to my brain.
how
Just
you
like
do that.
it's out of my head.
Plus, the baby oil doesn't come off too easy.
Our resident Korg distributor or retailer, official reseller, I don't know what your official title is. He says he thinks it will be April for the NTS2.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah,
that's more than I know.
Cool.
That'll be wonderful. It's a nice little box. It really is.
It looks it. Yeah, it does. Listen, gentlemen, it's been an absolute blast as per usual. We've had some laughs. Thank you, Ben, for probably the best laugh of the day.
Oh,
brilliant.
wonderful, man.
Well done for that.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Hollywood are on the phone, or is it Toho Studios in Japan? Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
They want your resume.
We predict many.
Yeah. Well, so yes, thank you, gentlemen, for your input, and we will revisit this in around 365 days' time, and see how close or far away we were again, and make some more wild predictions for 2024. But let's get through 2023 first. Dr. Mike Metlay, thank you ever so much for joining us.
Rob,
as per.
I do have a question.
Sure.
What's happening in upcoming PSN shows?
At the moment, we don't know. No, we've got
time next week.
Time next week, and then
Bollocks.
Dave.
Yeah.
Dave's in the wings.
Arnold.
Yeah, Dave Arnold's in the wings.
Oh, cool, excellent. So that we will be doing what we normally do, flying by the seat of our pants in the most professional manner, increasing our membership and subscriber count slowly but surely.
We've got some interesting people lined up, but we can't really talk about it.
No, we get that. Yeah. I was just wondering if there were any shows that we knew about after Ty.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And
other than Ty, no.
Call me. I'll come on and I'll talk for 2 hours.
We know. We don't want to take Ty's limelight away. Once we've got rid of him, then we can say all the wonderful people we've coming on. But at the moment, we need to make him feel very special.
Well, he is very special.
He'll be very depressed after taking all these fairy lights down anyway.
Yes. Today is the depressing day, isn't it? Because it's 12th. It was 12th night, so he's taken all his Christmas decorations down, and he will be very sad. And no doubt we'll get a phone call tomorrow. Berating us for that. Mike, thank you.
You're crying.
Yeah, thank you ever so much for coming on and for
Always.
doing your predictions. We need the predictions hat. I think that's what we need. It's in the thumbnail. We need the hat.
Yeah. You
Oh,
guys
the
wear
hat?
that.
It's the selecting hat.
If you
Yeah.
guys
Don't worry
ever,
about
if you guys ever want me to wear the hat, I'm happy to wear the hat.
Yeah.
Do that.
Especially when you're making predictions, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's the
what we
predictions
used to
hat.
have, of course, was there was a comedy routine on Johnny Carson where he put on a turban and he was Karnak
Yes.
the Magnificent.
And used to
And
hold
and,
the, yeah.
and they used exactly, and they used these questions have been hidden in a mayonnaise jar on Funkin' Wagnall's doorstep. Nobody has.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, who can do a Leslie Phillips impression?
No, I can't. No, not
No,
me.
the sorting hat didn't sound. He's like, no, that's Kenneth anyway, isn't it?
That was Kent. Yeah. Anyway, Mike, thank you for coming
Glad
on.
to. Always happy to.
Kent, thank
What?
you.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you for after a stressful day. Thank you for coming on. And anything lined up in your world this weekend? Now you got some room to move.
I'm going to watch some rugby tomorrow while laying down on the settee, covered in about four
Four
dogs, eating chocolate and sod it.
Sounds good.
Dogs eating chocolate is a bad idea.
Oh, they watch me eat the chocolate. That's all right.
Cool. Well, that sounds fun. Sounds fun. Ben, are you
uh,
gigging this week?
I am. I'm gigging in Blackpool tomorrow.
Blackpool!
Aye. Good old
Whereabouts
Blackpool.
in Blackpool? Whereabouts?
I can't remember where it is. I think it might be the Leighton Institute. It could be. Yeah, check that out.
I seem to remember you saying something about the Leighton Institute.
Yeah.
So what do you
I
do?
think
Do you
it
get
might
out of the van and just see if you can hear a polymoog in the distance and just follow it?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah. Oh, we're playing over here.
We're over there. Yeah.
Yeah,
well.
yeah, I think
That's
it
Vox
is the Leighton.
Humana. Follow it.
Follow that Vox Humana.
Yeah.
Hot news from our Korg distributor. Korg say February
Ooh,
for the NTS2.
nice. We'll keep our
Again,
fingers
you heard it
crossed.
here first, kids.
Wow. Oh.
Thank
There
you,
you go.
Ian.
It's-
Thank you very
so
much.
if we hang around a little bit longer, maybe it'll say it's coming at the end of the month.
or
Next week.
maybe I'll get a knock on my door.
Yeah.
And it's just
That'd-
like,
in the
Can
middle of the show.
Korg say February?
Fantastic. I don't know.
Or is it more like February?
February. Yeah.
February.
before we sign off, can I ask one favor?
Of course.
We've got a whole lot of people listening and very few likes. Can you click the like button before we stop the everybody who hasn't clicked the like button, please click the like button. There. That was all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. And if
Entitled
you
to a
have
free
clicked
coupon.
it and you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Hit that bell to get notifications. But of course, we are here every week. We will be talking about things that are coming up. We are hoping to produce some videos on specific products. So I'm hoping to do one for the Mini Freak very soon. I'm going to be doing one for the DX1 because lots of people keep asking me about that. Kent, I think, and I'm not putting any pressure on you, but you did say you might do
No,
something
I
on
want
Rolly.
to do a Rolly against Rolly against Rolly.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that's out and established, I will then cancel all of it and then do a Rolly against Osmos against Rolly
Nice.
against 80.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, we'll have lots of other content coming up. So do subscribe because apart from the weekly shows, we hope to have other stuff as well. So you'll get the notifications. And of course, do share the link around and let other people know where we are and how to find us. And of course, if you want to donate to the show, I know lots of people have been donating through the super chat and super stickers. Super grateful. Thank you very much indeed. But of course, you can also donate using the PayPal link if that's your preferred way of doing it. And some people, I'm not saying you have to, but some people do set up like a recurring payment. So if you just want to donate a couple of pounds a month, that's great. We love it. Fantastic. Set it up. We're more than happy for you to do that. So fantastic. And of course, merchandise. We normally talk about the merchandise because we get a little cut of that as well. But that's currently offline for the moment. We hope to get that sorted soon. Join us on our Facebook page if you want to keep up with information on that in between the shows. That'll be fine. Ramsey's on back after his Christmas and New Year break next week. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. UK time, I think. Dom won't be on Sunday because Dom is still not feeling great. And if Dom is watching or listening, get better soon, mate.
Get better.
Yeah, he's really not well.
But Jamie will be on, I believe, as usual, 6 p.m. on Sunday. You've got Nick on a Wednesday, Sonic State, of course. So plenty of content around there. Thank you very much indeed. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that.
It's Thane, MLH.
Thane MLH.
Thane is the name of his avatar on Second Life, and it's Mike L. Hunter.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that donation.
Cool.
Much appreciated. So we'll be back same time and place next week with Ty Unwin and his Osmos, and we shall geek out over that for a full 2 hours, I believe. And maybe there'll be some news as well. But until then, thank you ever so much for joining us. If you haven't already hit the like button, please do. And we will see you next week with loads of great stuff. And take care. Have a fantastic weekend.
Safe and happy
soon.
2023, everybody.
Happy New Year to everyone. Take care.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.